Yo, Afro Mizizi. Afro Mizizi to the core. Today we're done with the education part. So today we are kind of asking ourselves the question of like, what the fuck are we doing? Because I think every day we wake up and shit is just happening around us, and the answers simply are not. We're not being given the answers by any person or the society at large is not coming up with the answers. So, and also the leaders and the government as per se is not coming up with the answers. So the question is really, what the fuck are we doing, and how are we going to take ourselves out of this shit that is take ourselves out of this shit. What's your take, Mr. Man?
Yours like just stop it. Like what the fuck we doing?
Yeah.
I think we are podcasting. So anyway, if you think about it, we had a life before the year before 1900.
Before the 1900s, yeah.
There was life. There was us as Africans. We had a culture.
Yeah.
We had a way of life. But by that I mean we were solving our problems. We knew what to use when someone got sick. There were no hospitals, but we knew where to go.
Yes.
We knew what when the rain didn't come, we knew what to do. The picture that is painted is that Africans were stupid then, which is not the case. As a race, we have never been stupid. We have adapted to the environment or to the situation that is there, and thrived through. Now the question, what the fuck, is if you compare that time and this time that you're living, the quality of life right now compared to the quality of life then, it's like we are in a shithole right now, because we have copied things, or can I put it like this, we have believed lies that have been told to us.
Yes, all of our lives
for 120 years that we don't know and they do know.
Yes,
but now that whole thing is for their own benefit.
Absolutely.
So if you look at the quality of life generally, the quality of our life, our medicine, or whatever people are calling research, and we left our medicine and now we subscribed into these industrialized drugs that everybody uses. They are antibacterials, and I'm not saying they don't work, but if you ask yourself the right question, we are taking in chemicals while we had natural remedies for diseases. That's one example.
Yeah.
There are many examples, like the lifestyle generally. What is the worth of an African? What is how if you ask an African, what is your worth? When you're born, when you are a teenager, when you married, or when you are in your 20s and 30s, when you are in your 40s, when you're old, what's your worth as an African right now? And then how was your life? How was life then? So if you look at now,
Yeah.
people are committing suicide. People are thieves.
Yeah.
Our prisons are like,
Full, man.
There
They're
is-
even over the top.
there's a lot of people there.
Human trafficking, child trafficking.
There is a lot of murder going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of prostitution going on, and a lot of things that didn't happen then, they're happening now, because you are subscribed to a culture that is not, it's not yours. It's something that is imported and imposed on you. I think I shouldn't be wearing these clothes because I think I should have my chest out generally,
Africa style.
the African style. I think the next podcast you can do that.
Yeah. Pull up. Actually, we just pull up with our bodies. I think that's easier.
All the body is supposed to be out, or just battery.
The body has to be out.
I mean, like that, according to the standards, will be banned for that.
Then come for us.
We would like the video you're about to see has nudity and violence.
Yes. 18 plus rated R, and all those things.
Yeah.
And they'd come for us. So I think your point is pretty much legit, and I'd also want to say that as you said, we are following a culture from some other place, but one of the things which I really find it to be really flawed is that even themselves as white people, they don't have a culture. So how will you spread a culture when you don't have a culture? The thing is just they created a propaganda, and then they just came and said, yo, these brothers are savages and we have to quote unquote what is it called, quote unquote, what is it called, quote unquote, civilize them. Thank you very much for the lack of, no, for the word. We have to civilize them, and it's not that we were not civilized, or not even civilized. Even the word civil is just too much of a big word, because a people should have structure. That's what I think. And if you look at the Africans, we had structure, whether it is the homestead, whether it is the laws that govern the community and the society at large at that particular point, whether it is how the ceremonies that you do, because you can't tell me there's a white person who does a ceremony. Oh, they actually have a ceremony, I remembered. They had a coronation of their king. That's the kind of only ceremony that they can do, which was for me just a shit show. But like for us Africans, if, as you're saying, if it was rain, we would know the certain people in the community that we have to talk to them and then do the thing and go and have, if it's a sacrificial thing, we have to do it, and voila, the rain will be here with us. I remember one of the quote unquote explorers came here and saw Africans were praying to a god, and the god would answer us if if we are praying to be delivered from famine, the rains would be back, our lands would be fertile again. And they really wondered how these people who are quote unquote savages are actually have a connection towards their god and towards life in general. So they had to, in order for them to be able to disrupt their way of the way of the black man, they had to come up with a structure, which for me I call it a 3C, so that they can be able to penetrate inside our own thing. So the 3C is basically one. Number one was Christianity. They used Christianity. Then number two was definitely colonization. Then it advanced to commercialization. And if you check it, up to now, you'll still find their companies, I think as I was saying in the last podcast, where they are owned by the British or the French and are still up until now are still relevant. Someone was given I don't know, a list for a land that is 100 years or something like that, and you really wonder if does it even make sense. So for me, the Christianity was first to cloud your judgment, and then once it's gone, the colonization comes in. Once the colonization comes in, now they can be able to take your land and do all the shit that they want to do, take all your fertile lands and
minerals too.
And minerals. That's why now the commercialization comes, because after colonization now, because you have found minerals in some of these countries, now you have to commercialize on them. So I think that was like a big wake up call for me when I started looking at things from that perspective. Because if you take a narrative and try and change it in the course of time, I think you are changing the narrative so that it fits you. You're not just changing the narrative, you're changing the narrative so that it fits you. I remember also a very great professor, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, said there's something called the politics of language. I think he has written even a book about it, and he said that in order for someone foreign who's coming to your land to be able to get you to be a servant to them, first he has to erase the memory you have of the things that you do. So if you are you are an African in the first place, you have to now be told, now this language that you even operate in and speak in is not it's not the thing, man. You gotta learn English, man. You gotta learn French. You gotta learn Spanish, like our brothers in Bissau, or Portuguese. You have to learn all these ridiculous languages. So one of the things is that once that happens, they know, for like, if now we have started with a generation, when they are young, this same generation, like 20 years to come, there will not be another generation afterwards. So basically, the erasure of memory now it becomes easier, because now this generation that has come, it will teach their children the same thing, and it will continue on and on. Definitely there will always be rebels, and that is why we are where we are right now. Because if it wasn't for some of the rebels who are like, bro, this shit ain't working for us, and said, if this shit ain't working for us, there was something that was actually working for us. I remember one of the books we did in school by Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, actually coincidentally. This was my first experience with him, The River Between. He actually really showed the contrast between an African who was a sellout and okay, I wouldn't call him he's still a sellout, and an African who knew his ways and wanted to continue with their ways and culture. And for me, I think it was one of my biggest eye-openers, because I started looking at things differently from then, and also a little bit of history also kind of helped me through. So I think the politics of memory and politics of language also, they have come to show that whatever the white people were doing to our, first what they did to us by trying to make them first we start to talk like them English and try to be like them. I remember even the French had this assimilation thing where, like, if you are if you adhered to the rules of the French now, you'd be actually French now. So you'd be black, but you can be able to go to France. Good example was like in the president of Senegal, Leopold Sedar Senghor. So I think that's from me. Oh, one thing I remember one time, and this is where this politics of language comes in, because we have been asking ourselves this question of why, and the question of why. This why is, we'll see it shortly. I think I was somewhere in an institution, or I think it was probably a primary school or something, and as I was walking, I found a board written, "This is an English speaking zone." Mind you, this is Kenya, so this is an English speaking zone, and I was like, "Fuck! Is this like apartheid, or am I like, is this like the 1960s and I'm in Durban, or I'm in Cape Town, or Jozi?" Because I really didn't understand why I'm in my own country and I should actually be in that. Oh, but it applied to children, so me, I was an adult, I wouldn't adhere to that shit. And then the funny part was, like, I walked like, I think 10 meters past that sign post, and I think I find teachers who are there, and they are talking in what is it called, in their home languages, so in their mother tongue, as I'd say. And then I really found it absurd, because I was really wondering, like, why do you have to force children to be talking some stupid ass languages? Some of these children, even basic Kiswahili, they don't even talk. You remember back in the day, if you in school, primary school, had this stupid thing of that if you talk, I don't know, if you talk Kiswahili or Sheng, you'd wear a disc for a whole day, or up until someone else talks the same English. And I was always like, man.
We had a way out of that in primary school.
Yeah.
One person was supposed to sacrifice themselves for the beating.
For the greater good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everybody would speak as they wish, and tomorrow there will be another person
who sacrifices.
And then you'll be the teacher. At some point, they will notice, like, this class is too good.
Yeah.
I decide to beat us all of us
for taking the bullet.
Yeah. And again, if you think about it, like, language.
Yeah.
Like when you teach a kid with their little things, you are that are not correct.
Yeah.
You are erasing the history.
Absolutely.
And when you erase the history of a person, you are erasing that person.
Yes, there's that point.
And replacing them with a different form that is fake.
Yeah, a newer version.
Now, that newer version is what we are dealing with now. If you ask yourself, in our African setting, like, I come from a Kikuyu African setup.
Yes.
When you are born, you are supposed to be celebrated.
Yes.
When you grew up to some age, you are celebrated.
Yes.
When you are like almost a teenager, in initiation,
we are still
you are
celebrated. A celebration, man. Yeah.
When you are a warrior, you are celebrated.
Yes.
When you are when you're marrying, it's celebration. Now, right now, it's total shit.
Yeah.
Like. Have you seen the way the whole thing is, man? Like
the probability of
like
you making it even as a baby.
Yes, there is all the science.
Yeah.
Which is all in scarcity mentality.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's just scarcity mentality. First of all, we have abandoned everything that is valuable.
Yeah.
Now we are chasing the paper.
Yeah.
the problem with that is that very few people have the paper now,
Yes.
the money, and again, money it keeps changing value.
Mm.
So one day you have a valuable thing, tomorrow you don't. Now, back to when you are born. Now, what is happening is the probability of you actually even being born,
Yeah.
it's minimal
Yeah.
because people are like supposed to pull out and
Yeah. We started that.
so because there is no system,
Mm.
people are coping.
Yeah.
So then, if by any chance
Yeah.
that sperm gets to the girl or to the lady,
Mm.
the probability of you seeing the daylight
Yeah.
is also minimal.
Very.
They are being told abort.
Mm. Take that thing out, man.
It's alright.
Yeah.
That's a white man's language of
Mm.
saying kill your generations.
Exactly. The generations to come, kill them.
Kill them. Kill everybody that is going to be conceived. Kill
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, because the resources that are there, they're not for you and your generations, they are for us.
Yes. Then from there, if by any chance
Mm.
that child is born, the probability of that child surviving, because the child is seen as a trouble, some shit that
Yeah.
is coming to the world to take.
Mm.
In our African setup, a child is a blessing.
Absolutely.
The more children you had, the more resources you could be able to get.
Mm.
Because these people are coming with their creativity,
Yeah.
they are coming with their energy and all that, and then they create an empire.
Mm.
They create resources.
Yeah.
Now, African land is vast.
Very.
So we haven't filled Africa.
Yet.
The population that is here, the whole of Africa, is like around 1.2 billion.
Mm.
That is less than the population of India
Yeah,
as a
bro.
country.
We're talking about
And
a
yeah,
continent.
someone is telling you, don't give birth.
Mm. Things
Don't-
are hard, yeah.
If you give birth, you're going to die.
Yeah.
Now, the reason as to why you are being told that, because you have already believed the
Mhm.
lie
Mm.
that there isn't
Yeah.
resources,
Yeah.
and there are resources in Africa. A lot of resources there is a lot of opportunities that are not yet tapped.
Yes.
Now, let's assume now you're born,
Yeah.
and now you're there as a baby. There's a probability that your mom is gonna abandon you in the streets.
There is a very big
It's there.
Yeah, we've seen even others, they take the kid and try to dump them in like a pit latrine or throw them in rivers or something like that.
Yeah,
So it is happening.
it's happening.
Yes.
Now you are a burden
To society,
to the
since
society
day
now.
one. Yeah.
To everybody. Everybody sees you because now there is a school you have to attend
Yeah.
that has to be paid by somebody.
Exactly.
And it's now made mandatory that you have to go to school, to that fucking school that everybody is supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Remember in Tamed what we said,
Yeah.
and we looked at that situation.
Yeah.
The school is coming now to kill the creativity of this kid and to show them that they are nothing
Absolutely.
from day one to the end. Someone is paying for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the current situation right now. Then you finish your school. If you do finish your school, if you don't,
Yeah.
you are lucky. Because if you don't, you start hustling and finding ways of survival.
Mm.
And luckily, most people find that if you didn't go to school, you will find ways of survival that are more beneficial. You go into farming or become a thief or become something.
Yeah.
Become a reject.
Rebel.
become a rebel or something. You might explore your talents when you are very young. Now, the problem with that is that sometimes you might think you are inferior because you didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Then you end up shitty.
Yeah, there's that part. Also.
There is that part. But now, when a kid doesn't go to school, they go back into what I call default systems or factory settings, where
Survival,
now survive. Now, if you think about it, now at the end of the day, what the fuck are we doing really as Africans? We don't value anything anymore.
No, there's no value to anything.
We don't value, like,
You don't value life first, even.
people are killing each other, they are killing themselves. Why would you kill yourself like that? Because you see, scarcity mentality is all that you know.
Yeah. All have been taught, in fact.
You don't know that
There is
who
abundance.
you are as
Yeah.
an African. You don't know that you are very talented.
Yeah.
You do not know that you have all the resources around you.
Yeah. The most creative also person.
We are importing everything,
Man.
yet
Yeah.
we have everything.
Right here.
Everything is
Under
here with us.
our nose, man.
So if you go back now into our culture, the people who are making decisions for the society then were the people who are informed.
Yeah.
They would call them elders. You are elder because you have experience, you have understanding of the way things work, you have understanding of life generally. Life is a wholesome. You're not an expert if you just go to the university and learn that
There's no
that if you add potassium in something, now we come celebrate you because
fam.
you know that.
Yeah. Anybody else can do that.
You are celebrated in an African society when you have enough experience
That's about shit.
and understanding.
Yeah.
And that was a man mostly. Even the ladies, when they got to an age where they have brought up families, those are to be respected. They are to be taken care of.
Yes.
By who? The society knows their importance.
Exactly.
Right now, look at the old people now.
Bro, it's a sad sight, man.
They're
Fucking
just
sad sight.
suffering. They're just out there.
Yeah.
Some of them are poor. When you are poor and old, that is
A deadly
bad.
combination. Yeah.
It's bad, man.
It's sad. And if you check, I think you're saying the transition of the kid growing up. I was thinking when you're talking about it that you can now the kid, you see, you already as the parent who didn't want this kid in the first place, now you have to take them to school. So what are you doing? You are also continuing, you're making sure the continuation of being programmed is continuing. You're already programmed. That's why you're being told this kid is valueless unto you. So now you have to take them to school again so that they can be programmed, so that they can be told, yeah, actually, Africa, there are resources, but bruh, they're in for ya. So we have to continue with this thing of trying to getting the children programmed. One of the things also I also ask myself is, how comes we don't let kids learn their mother tongue when they're in school? It's also demonized.
We used to.
Back in the day, mine was good. I remember, I think when I was in secondary school, some kid told me, because I went to secondary school in a Uko Ushago, in a rural place, and some kid told me like, yo, me when I got to class 1, we were learning Kikuyu.
Yeah.
Pamoja with English and Swahili and everything. I was like shocked, man.
Just think about it.
Yeah.
An African child is able to capture 3 languages at a go.
Madness.
And in three fucking languages,
bro, it's crazy.
and again do the curriculum that is with the Westerns.
Yeah, doesn't even make sense.
So how can you say that an African kid is not smart?
We have actually the smartest of kids even in this country.
They are not learning all those things. And why are you learning all the languages in the first place?
Doesn't even make sense. Just get it done. If the kids were learning the languages from the teachers back then, which for me, like, I actually saw that was like an awesome thing. As far much as we do not agree with this education system, I think for me it was a very, for that part, some of the teachers who are doing that, respect to them, because like they understood the assignment. And one thing also, as I said, I found there's a lot of as you said, creativity is lost in between the way. And one of the best case studies, I think I was just checking out this week, I didn't know, I think one of the best ever artists that we have as a country in Kenya was Camp Mula. And at that particular age, I think Miss Karun was 14, and fam, she was chanting some mad vocals. Man, you didn't think like Karun was 14 chanting those vocals and doing whatever she was doing. Performance was also, she wasn't that bad. And Kina Marcus was one of the producers. If you listen to some of their beats, those beats were like distinct. Because I remember me transitioning to maybe listening to I don't know what genre of hip hop that time it was called, but by then there was Akina Future and Juicy J. I used to love Juicy J. It used to be like a band, and I was listening to some of their beats and some of Kamula's beats. Remember Kina Future and Juicy J, some of them came, or me I was introduced to them later on, and I found that it's like Marcus was the kid creating the beats, had I don't know, maybe he had a premonition or something. He had like seen the future and he was doing this some mad beats. If you listen to some of those instrumentals, that was like crazy. And even some and even when the kids were coming together and just doing their thing, you know, their first album, their only album actually, has some good tunes. I think it has some really good tunes. And I noticed, you know, when they did produce that, there was no noise. There was no, you have to make it. There's not too much noise. They're just doing the music because, yeah, man, it's good. We do love being in the studio, and creating music was our thing. And for me, at that particular age group, I saw actually the power of kids expressing themselves. If one, you would let the kids, if we let our kids to actually express themselves and not don't bundle them up in a box and tell them you can only do this shit. If someone told Karun that, we wouldn't be having Karun. If someone told Nyash that, we'll be having Nyashinsky as one of the best artists. I remember I was checking out the story. You see, I remember one time some years back, people like Wizkid and Davido were coming to Kenya to perform, and then if you want to collab with them, if you're an artist, you'll be like told, yo, you know, for me to do a collab with you, I don't know, you have to chuck some tunes, some like 2 mic, 3 mic. And Wizkid came to Kenya and just pulled up at the studio and did a track with Kamula. I don't think there was any transactions that happened. And this was like genuine talent that was there. These kids started being they were identified by actually not identified, they were actually played by other, they were played by BT and MTV when Kenyan radio had actually refused to play them. And then now after BT had played them, like, bro, Kenyan radios are like, I think now we gotta play these kids because it's crazy. It's so sad that as Africans we are always trying to put ourselves to actually put ourselves down, actually to put the next person who's just an African like us, who's just trying to make something out of themselves. We're trying to push them down, and it boils down to the scarcity mentality that we have. We see if I just lend a hand to this person, it's it's like I'm losing. And for me, I think it was a sad thing. And the biggest take for me was like, if us as a society, we're not even looking at parents or anything, if us as a society would embrace ourselves first, then we won't be having some of these stupid ass mediocre leaders that we have, who are doing random shit that is not even, we don't even like, I don't know even how to put it, you know.
The question you are raising is,
Yeah.
if the teachers, not the teachers, the leaders we have are the way they are,
Yeah.
we choose them based on what? One, qualification to be a leader is to have gone through that education.
Yeah.
So for you to be a governor of Nairobi, you must have a degree. That means you must be programmed,
must be conformed,
into some kind of a person
that
can be controlled.
Yeah.
Now, if that wasn't there, and your track record is what you are looking at, how did you create? What did you create? How many problems did you solve?
Yes.
By the time you're asking us
to put you in the office.
to put you there, that would be like a better way of looking at things.
Yeah.
That was the African system. The system that you have to prove yourself first before you tell us. In fact, you don't have to tell us. We'll put you there because we believe and we have seen
and we know
you, what you have done.
Exactly.
Now, when you look at now the politics, the whole spectrum of politicians, the whole thing of what you calling leadership, it's not leadership. It just
shittership.
It's a tamed kind of a thing that is to be controlled, because someone is telling you you need a loan to survive.
Yeah.
You need a loan to survive because you need food. You need a road because you need to buy our cars that we are making in Germany and Europe, and we need somewhere to sell those cars.
Them, yeah.
So if you say to yourself, no, for a minute, can I sit down and ask myself the exact thing that I need now as an African? That is the question that because when I was listening to you talking about talents and the way the people are shortchanging each other, you are shortchanging another person because, one, you have that scarcity mentality in your head. It is there. It is so rooted in you that if you saw my mobile phone or something, or my money here, you are hell-bent that I forget so that you can snatch that and put it in your pocket. In the African setting, before 1900, the year 1901 is 1900. Let me get before 1901.
1900 only.
There was no people stealing. What was happening is, okay, you could have communities raiding other communities.
Yeah.
The same way we have Iraq and the US having a beef, what.
Yes, exactly.
You have Uganda and whatever. You have those small beefs.
Which is normal, man.
It's normal, yeah. But now, if your head is just full of I don't have all the time, I need more all the time, whose mindset is that? It's a white man's
mentality.
Yeah. Because they came here to steal.
Absolutely.
They didn't come here to give,
Yeah.
to steal, and they have already stolen, and they are stealing still.
Yeah, it's a
Who is
continuation.
letting them do it?
The same.
You Africans who are seated in your offices thinking that you are gaining,
Mm.
but you are losing big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Because if you think about it, you have minerals that are raw materials to their industries, that the products that you're using as finished products,
Yeah.
they cost 100 times
More.
that what you exported.
Yeah.
Who
Who's
is
fooling
losing?
who?
Who is losing?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the fuck. Now you have South Africa selling their gold, and now you see them. They are saying we are poor. You are poor and you have gold,
Nigeria is also poor.
and they have oil.
The fuck?
Is the second largest oil producer in Africa. Was it?
Yeah, is it the second? Yeah, I think it's second after the Northern Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think in the world it's the fourth or the fifth.
And yet 80 million people in Nigeria are living in abject poverty.
Bro, there's one time I was checking some weird stats that the same people who are having the mandate of selling the oil to wherever it's supposed to be sold, because it's being sold as crude oil. I saw Dangote right now is building a refinery, and people were like online bashing the story. And like, fuck you as Nigerians who are trying to bash Dangote, because one, the government uses some, I don't know, company to sell the crude oil so that it can come back now as the finished product. Then they have put a regulator. Then guess who's the regulator? The same fucking government. So one time you're just chilling and you have been told that, hey fam, $13 billion, we don't know where $13 billion has gone. It's imeenda, hatujui imeenda wapi. How?
The question, the bigger question is how do you think we are faring in this game for the last 100 years as Africans?
Oh, we are losing it, fam.
We have lost.
We are losing it. We are losing it.
Anybody who comes up and says, oh yeah, Africa is winning, that person is supposed to be big,
Short.
to be shot
Head first, my friend.
or hanged in public.
Absolutely. Or they first castrate them and then we shoot them.
Can they castrate them
Or
in
there's
public
that
or
thing
something?
called the raging bull or something like that, so that you're like put in a metallic bull thing and then they wanaichoma hapa chini, so like you just die. It was I think in ancient Greece or something like that. You just die slowly, and that will be better.
When you scream, people,
Yeah. We'll be hearing the screams. That would be like properly awesome.
and TikTok cannot ban that.
Yeah, they can't.
And every social media platform.
They can't. Zero, fam.
Why don't we have like an African made social media platform so that we can discuss our issues?
Our own issues, yeah,
Because we have our issues that are very deep.
and some of them, not some of them, a lot of them we can only address them by ourselves.
Exactly.
Because, okay, 100 years, as you have said, we haven't found the answers that we have been looking for the fucking 100 years. So why can't we have then our own platform to just discuss our own fucking issues and find answers to ourselves? Remember, as the Swahili said, or the Methali, mwachamila
Ni mtumwa.
ni mtumwa. So actually,
Mwachamila mtumwa, we are like 1.2 billion people of slaves.
we are fucking slaves, man.
Can you translate that in Swahili? Mwachamila in English it would be like
Wow. The liver of, okay, we can't do that.
the liver of a catcher
is a slave.
the person
A person
who
abandons
their catcher
is a fucking slave.
is a slave. I didn't say that. Swahili said that.
The medal, exactly.
The Wagangas, the
Kite, those things. What were we calling them?
Wahanga
Wahenga.
Wahenga.
Na wenguzi.
na Wahenguzi
There is
hawakupaka
henguza that thing.
mafuta mgongo wa
Mgongoni.
chupa. It's like those things that really matter. Like the teachers will be like, mgongo wa sijui nini,
chupa ya
kitendawili.
mafuta. I'm like, bro, like if you read, it's a problem.
Nobody uses those things anymore.
Yeah, but the wahenga and wanguzis were very correct. This the other thing of kupaka people mafuta is where we don't know they were pakaring mafuta where. But the wahengas are firm. They were ready. So Mwachamila ni mtumwa. This is one of the biggest problems we are facing, because we are running away from our culture. We don't want to embrace it. Some of actually Africans are actually demonizing the culture and saying shit about it. Fam, it's on you, man. Mwachamila ni mtumwa.
I blame the feminists all the time.
They have to be on the case.
It's the feminists.
They have to be on the case.
It's like, I don't know about chauvinists, but feminists, I know what they are about.
Yeah, and
I just
they are
blame
Mwachamila.
them. They are the ones who have left our
The-
culture.
Uko nyuma.
Yes.
Absolute, fam. Absolutely.
Fuck the feminists.
Fuck them. Mwachamila ni mtumwa. That's mine.
It's a wrap.